All right, welcome to class 6. Today you're going to do your self-evaluation. So you're going to complete the self-evaluation using the rubric and do your 2-sentence summary. When you get done, you can continue working on your final piece. Remember, you're going to write this in your sketchbook, your notebook, whatever you have to keep track of everything for art. And then when you get done, just slide it over to the corner of your desk and then start working on your final piece so your teacher can come around and check it, but you don't have to wait. So teachers, if you want to pause to allow students to get out their sketchbooks, you can. And I'm just going to go ahead and go on. So to make sure you understand the rubric of how you're going to be graded, so remember you would write down transformation piece, and then rubric. And then you're just going to write down what's in bold. You don't have to write down what's not. That was just to help you understand a little bit better. So number 1, the degree, you can tell who the real person is. So we want to make sure when you think about looking at the piece that yes, you see the cartoon style, but you can also tell who it was. So we just want to be able to see, it's not going to look super realistic, right? It's not supposed to, but you want to make sure that we can tell who it is, especially if it's someone famous. We should all be able to tell. All right, and that's out of 40 points, major points there. So give yourself a grade out of 40 based on where it is now. Remember, this is not the day your project is due. This is just a self-evaluation so you can see where you are and what you can do to improve the quality of your piece before you actually turn it in. All right, number 2, the degree, the cartoon style you chose is recognizable. So this means, if I picked Boondocks, I should be able to tell, oh yeah, that's the Boondocks style. If I picked the Simpsons style, people are like, oh yeah, that's a Simpsons character. We should be able to tell immediately. And a really good way to do number 1 and 2 to kind of test it out is to show someone in class who doesn't know what you're doing. Like if you show the person sitting next to you, yeah, they know who you're doing, right? But if you ask permission and ask someone across the room who doesn't know what you're doing, like, hey, who do you think this is and what cartoon style? If they can recognize them, perfect, right? But just make sure you have someone who doesn't know what you're doing. All right, and that's out of 30 points. So give yourself a grade out of 30 based on where you are right now. All right, number 3, emphasis on the eyes. So this is essentially a person that you're creating. And when we look at people, whether it's art or in real life, we want to look at their eyes. We are drawn to their eyes. So we want the eyes on your piece to be emphasized, to have enough contrast, meaning a difference between like light and dark, or if you had some bold color changes in there, so that we would really focus on the eyes. That's out of 20 points. And then the 5th one is that the piece is complete, and that's out of 10 points. So again, finishing your artwork is very, very important. Most everybody in class should have a 0 out of 10 right now because you're not done. If you feel like you are, I want you to look and see what could you do to make it better. Not like, is this good enough? But what could I do to make it the best I could possibly do? Okay, so think about that. And if you are done, you might want to think about trying another one, or trying it in reverse. Try it in reverse where you take a cartoon character and turn them into a human. So that would be kind of taking it one step further. All right, so you're going to give yourself a grade out of 100. Just tally those up. And again, teachers, you can pause if you need to. And then we're going to give ourselves a summary here, okay? And what I like to do, and this would be something great you could do in class together. And again, this is just, we know this isn't your final grade, but raise your hand if your piece is in the 60 range, 60 range. All right, all right. Raise your hand if your grade right now is in the 70 range, the 70 range. Good, good, good. Raise your hand if your piece is in the 80 range. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Anyone in the 90 range? That would mean you have to be complete. Okay. Anyone at 100? If you think you are, make sure you look back over. All right, awesome. So if we're going to do our summary now, you're going to write these 2 sentences and finish them in your sketchbook based on the rubric. So the total right here, you're going to put that number right here. So right now I give myself let's say you gave yourself, a 0 here and a 0 here. So you're at a 70. So right now I give myself a 70 because my eyes are just mapped out right now. There's no emphasis on them and my piece is unfinished, right? You took two things directly from the rubric, kind of just explaining why you don't have 100. The second sentence says, I can improve the quality of my piece by. So this is how you can make it better. So in this sentence, I might explain how I would add contrast to the eyes to add emphasis to make them stand out. So maybe you say, I can improve the quality of my piece by going over the eyes with ink and getting a thicker line in there to really draw those out. That would be a really good way to explain and complete that sentence. All right, good luck, stick with it. I'll see you for the next class.